we're using AI to help us be more efficient. We're using AI to help us make more impact.
Mhm.
And I think so often we miss the step maybe around that, which is you need to bring value in everything you do. AI in of itself isn't an answer. It's just a great tool.
I think that's important to understand. And many people that I talk to think that adding value is their opt in. Oh, I'm going to give them my freebie or I'm going to give them my newsletter. No, nobody wants that. If I have to sign up for it with my email, that's not you providing value. I feel like I have a rock star assistant who understands what I want, what I need, and how to do it. I see it all the time, and I would just encourage imperfect action. I mean, I think I encourage imperfect action every day. As long as you're still taking action on all of your outreach, all of your emails, all of your ideal client identification that we talked about. So don't neglect the daily, I call it the tailored 20, but don't neglect that interaction on a daily basis with those people that can refer business to you or that you want to work with.
Hi, and welcome to the 91 Day AI Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Mast, and today, you guys always hear I have a special guest because every guest is special, but Suzanne is extra special. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our story, and then let Suzanne introduce herself. Suzanne and I met purely by happenstance, I believe. I don't know what caused that to happen, and we did, was it probably a year ago, Suzanne, we did a 15-minute quick little interview that I was running as kind of a marketing crawl. And then Suzanne did something that is absolutely amazing. Suzanne managed to just continue to find ways to add value to my life, to my business, to my audience, and is truly one of the most abundance-minded and giving people, business leaders I have ever met. And as a result, Suzanne and I have become friends. We are actually speaking in April at an event together. We've shared opportunities, and I'm so honored today, Suzanne, to have you actually on the podcast, as we realized about a month ago, hey, we've actually never done a podcast together after all this stuff. So thank you for joining me today. For those people that maybe don't know who Suzanne is, can you give us just that elevator introduction to who it is you serve and how you improve their lives?
I would love to. I've been a coach for about 16 years. Started out as a health coach, and quickly everyone was asking business questions because I have been an entrepreneur and a founder since the early 90s before social media. So most of my first and second business were built before social media. So that meant people, connections, conversations, networking, and really building a name for myself in those businesses. And that's what helped me grow. So when I came into the online space in about 2010 with a health coaching practice, I already had a full practice in person. So it was really lots of people coming to me wondering, well, how the heck do you do this? How do you be a connector, be a giver, provide value to people? And then it was all the logistical business questions. So I created my first business coaching, actual like group coaching mastermind, I guess you would call it. And without much promotion, I had 60 people signed up. And I thought, wow, this is going to be really fun. I don't know what I'm teaching. I don't know what I'm coaching around, except for the fact that these people want to learn how to do what I've done myself. And I really feel that's when I've been most successful, is sharing that journey that I've actually taken myself.
Well, it's an amazing journey, as you've shared it with me over the last year, and we've got to know each other a bit more. One of the things that I mentioned in the lead up here, that Suzanne, you have done better and more consistently than any other business associate connection that I have ever had, not just recently, but ever, is adding value. And I think that's one of the reasons you and I connected so well. As you know, I love to add value to people's lives.
Yeah.
But I'd love for you to share a little bit, if you would, about kind of our backstory and how we met and how because you get the credit. You really are the one that worked to build a relationship with
Well,
me.
see,
Not that I
I
wasn't
totally
interested, but
think it's the opposite. I totally think it was you that was providing value to me. So we can fight about that if you want. But here's the thing, when I receive massive value from somebody and I don't even know them, I was learning in the online space for years. And then when I just was interested and I was curious and I was playing myself. And then I stumbled across you and I said, this guy gets it. He gets how to provide value. I'm learning just from your Facebook posts alone. And then I dove into your website and I said, I got to meet this guy. This is unbelievable, the value that he's providing. I want to be like him when I grow up. So I don't how we happened, I don't do that with everyone. It's impossible to
oh,
do
you
that
can't.
with
No,
everyone,
absolutely.
right? But I do take notice of people who are educating from that space of giving it. And then you were such a mentor to me before I even met you. So to me, that was a logical choice since we do something different with our careers and how we
Yep.
make money, but we're both interested in some of the same things. So not only providing value, but all the AI things that you're into, I wanted to learn. So I just kind of saw that, oh, he's got a big following, but I have a loyal following. I do something he doesn't do. So conceivably we could be of massive value to each other, whether it was me sharing you, you sharing me, us learning from each other. And thank you so much for the kind words and your participation with my referral pod group inner circle. And so I'm of extra value because now I'm inviting you into that inner circle. It's not huge like your Facebook group, but it's people that I actually know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
And so that if I need to refer Jonathan to somebody, they're already coming to you vetted, tested, and I know them really well. So it's kind of like one of those dinner parties you have, and you have 10 people coming to the dinner party, and one person doesn't know anybody else, but they know you, and they can come to that party and have a great time because it's other people that know you.
Mm. That's a great analogy. Hey, I'm honored that you say you thought I was the one building. It's just,
Totally. Every time you
I think
say
it's
it, I'm
proof.
like, he thinks I'm the
Well, no, but I think,
one.
it's a good paradigm. And you and I haven't talked so much about the way we built our business relationship, but we have talked about some others that have tried with both of us and failed.
Yeah.
And I think, the one thing that you demonstrated to me, again, just above and beyond anybody else, was every time I interacted with you, I was like, wow, Suzanne is just providing huge value. She's improving my life. She's improving my business. It was every time I turned around, there was value. And we have different communities. You have a very loyal, very well-known, and immense, huge, massive value. I got a massive community, but, I only get a small percentage of those people that actually regularly engage with me. And
Mhm.
both models work,
Yeah.
but there's difference there. And I remember we had a conversation probably about 2 months ago now, and I won't mention any names, but I know somebody who come to you and said, hey, I see you're doing some stuff with Jonathan. Can you introduce me? And one of the things I appreciate about you is you didn't just immediately go, oh yeah, absolutely. You gave them some advice on things that they could do. And it's been
Mhm.
interesting over the last couple of months. They reached out, and of course they used the, hey, I know Suzanne, and would you meet with me? So I did.
Mhm.
And what was amazing though in that conversation with this individual was it was all about them. Everything in that conversation was what I could do for them, how they wanted to get into my group, how they wanted to get to win for them. So
Yeah.
everything, even though a lot of it was couched in the, oh, I could do this for you, it was very clear that everything being done was really all about them and the value they were going to get out of it. They weren't
Mhm.
giving at all, if that makes sense.
Right.
And what's been interesting is we had a conversation, this person and I did, about, hey, mimic what Suzanne has done. Suzanne has actually never asked me for a referral. Suzanne's never asked me to do anything, but yet you and I do business with each other on almost a daily basis, one way or
Mhm.
another. And we continue to find more projects to work on. And it's been interesting, and I'm just comparing, contrasting. Over the last 2 months, that individual has been consistently trying to essentially get into my network. And that's fine. I don't mind that. But they have yet in 2 months to do anything to add value to my network. It's all about them every single
Right.
step of the way. And as you can imagine, if I had to, I couldn't even remember the name of that individual because it's just they're making no progress in it. And I think, as we talk to people, this is about AI or it's part of the podcast, but as we talk to people, we're using AI to help us be more efficient. We're using AI to help us make more impact.
Mhm.
And I think so often we miss the step maybe around that, which is you need to bring value in everything you do. AI in of itself isn't an answer. It's just a great tool. Again, I just love your perspective on that as we've done that. So as we kind of transition into AI, we can leave
Mhm.
the Mutual Admiration Society for the moment. We both obviously
Yeah.
enjoy working with each other. But as we move into AI, one of the things I hear about so often from people is, yeah, I just don't want to create AI content because it's not genuine. I believe that AI can help you create better and potentially more genuine content when used properly and when your focus is what we're talking about here on providing value to your audience. I love your
Yeah.
perspective on that, Suzanne. And do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? You don't have
Totally,
to, but I'm just curious.
totally agree.
What's your perspective on that in AI?
Well, I think massive value to me, uh, to go out there into the world and give massive value to other people. It's what would be valuable to them. So, interacting with you, it's not about what would be valuable to me, it's what would be valuable to you. So, for me, that looks like commenting on your content that I've learned from, sharing when I take action on something I learned from you. Huge. I mean, just participation alone in this day and age is so valuable. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
if I get good results from something I took action on that I learned from you, it makes you look good. That's all for you. Then participating in your mastermind group has been incredible for me. I've met great people. I'm interacting with those people, which I feel lucky to do. And again, when I show up with my brain and my knowledge and my curiosity, that adds more value to the
Absolutely.
mastermind group. So I think that's important to understand. And many people that I talk to think that adding value is their opt in. Oh, I'm going to give them my freebie or I'm going to give them my newsletter. No, nobody wants that. If I have to sign up for it with my email, that's not you providing value to me. And so with AI, I think there's a huge opportunity to be of value to more people. And I don't mean thousands of people. I think you have to be very strategic, 50 people max. I have about 20 who have my cell phone number. They call me when they need something. Awesome. I have another 50 to 100 who I interact with on social media, comments, interactions, sharing their content, learning from their content, or vice versa. And that's about the limit. And you can use AI tools to help you keep track of those people, filter those people. I just made an incredible introduction for one of my clients and inner circle members to 4 podcasts that I was on last year. And he's looking for more visibility. He's looking for more value. He's extremely valuable host or guest rather. And so I used AI to grab his LinkedIn profile and the hosts of the podcast that I wanted to introduce them to. Please explore synergies and write an introduction email for me. And I did that
Love
all
it.
in 10 minutes, introduced him to 4 people with nice quality emails. So that's just one way I'm using it. I'm using it to keep track of the podcasts that I want to be on on a list and I can engage with those people very intentionally. And, content creation is unlimited. And I'll use your example. When I create a post for your community, I do it in your style. How you share value is how I share value in your group. Because when I do that, yes, am I going to get followers from it? I think I have. I think I've gotten
Yeah.
500 new followers from being in your group. But that's because I'm showing up how you show up. And
I love
take
that.
a lesson from other people. How do they write? How do they provide value in their community? And do it the same way with your own content. And I
Mm.
think that's been the secret sauce for me.
Well, there's no, you are very strategic, and I've learned that from you. I mean, I am not nearly as strategic in many ways as you are, and you've taught me so much about being very purposeful and very strategic in how you're
Hmm.
doing that. I'd like to dive into AI content for a moment because it's
Hmm.
one of those hot button issues. It's
Yeah.
people either love it or they hate it. And you and I both having a goal of being authentic and adding value, knowing that that's kind of our core. That's where we start from. I'd
Yeah.
love for you to talk to me about how does AI content fit into that model? Because aren't we by nature, if we're using AI, aren't we creating something that's really not authentic? And we're cheating.
Well, we're cheating a little bit because of how little time it takes. But I would say using Perplexity for researching a topic, going deeper on a topic, and then bringing that into my custom chat GPT that I created just for STK, that's programmed with all of my stories, all my certifications,
Hmm.
all of my beliefs about coaching and the online space, plus more knowledge that I programmed it with about my programs and my offers and all of that. um, I'm able to take information. So this month's theme is simplification, and I'm able to research simplifying workflows, simplifying your workday, simplifying your desktop, simplifying your email, and take research, actual research, bring that into my GPT,
Hmm.
write something, and then ask it, hey, that story I have about meeting a billionaire at the local dog park? Take that bullet pointed story and incorporate it into this content or this blog post or this whatever. So I'm able to take my own stories that I've programmed in, or even a news story. Like I could go to AI right now and say, write me a post about being on Jonathan's podcast and how we talked about massive value, how we met, and it's already gonna know about you because I've talked about you to it before. And I could easily write a post about being of massive value and tag you in that post. One, it's promoting your podcast and it's saying great things about you, but I'm hacking the writing of it. And do I always use everything I create? No, absolutely not. But I think the shortcut that you can do with it, as long as it's your own intellectual property, you can stay on top. That's what it's helped me the most, is stay on theme. So for the whole month of January to talk about simplification would have driven me crazy in the past. But now I can stay on topic, on target, same CTAs, same like outcome for my content because it's helping me do that.
I love that. No, and I think that's a good. What you talk about overall, that overarching theme I'm hearing is that you're not just going to AI and having it, you know, write me a social media post, write me a
Right.
blog post. You're
Right.
training, you're interacting, you're collaborating. Much candidly, like Suzanne, if you and I were going to work on a project together, as I mentioned, you and I are speaking at an event in April, and if you and I were to have a collaboration meeting and say, okay, we're going to
Mhm.
put together some marketing for this event, or we're going to plan that event out, you and I would collaborate on that. I wouldn't
Right,
just come to you, or you wouldn't just come to me and go, speaking event in April, tell me what I'm talking about. That obviously
right,
wouldn't work. But yet
right.
I feel that's how most people treat AI when they come to it. They just assume that it understands everything, and they start off with a very broad statement. And then we know AI has been programmed to make assumptions, and we know what happens when people make assumptions. When
Uh-huh.
AI makes assumptions, the same thing happens. You
Yeah.
kind of come across like the southbound end of a northbound mule at that point in time. And therefore they go, well, that just wasn't impressive,
Mhm.
or they're just not comfortable with the way things come through and the way things are. That from your perspective, as you know, I love to talk about, I think 2025, as we're recording this and this is going live, I believe 2025 is going to be the year that business leaders either embrace AI and truly leap ahead of their competition,
Mhm.
or they become that competition that gets left behind because their competitors are going to do that. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not predicting that AI is going to put a lot of businesses out of business. I don't think that's going to happen in 2025, but I think our clients are going to be able, their
Mhm.
expectations of what we can do are
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be higher. The what we're doing is going to be more impactful. And I think as business owners and leaders, we need to figure out how to implement AI into our businesses. If you were talking to a business, and it could be one of your coaching clients or anybody else, that said, okay, I played around with ChatGPT a little bit. It was interesting. It was fun. But now I need to figure out how do I use it in my business for both me, my business, and also for my team. What might
Mhm.
you recommend they start with? Because I know I'm asking a multi-part question, but I find people either do one of two things when it comes to AI. They're either sticking their head in the sand like an ostrich, going, not me, not me, not me, or they're on the other end of the spectrum and they're finding somebody's Ferrari or Lamborghini to stand in front of and tell you how they can make $1 million for you in the next 30 days with
Right.
AI.
Yeah.
Neither of those are reality. So,
Correct.
from a reality perspective, as someone who teaches like I do about AI, who has demonstrated and who is teaching others, how do you recommend that business owner in 2025 starts pursuing AI this year? What should they be doing in your mind?
My first question, I just started a small little AI group within my community. And my first question to them was, what task feels overwhelmingly time consuming to you? Five
Mm-hmm.
people said presentations, creating PowerPoints. Another five people said creating video scripts or ideas for videos. And a couple said blog post creation.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately, I know that we're going to address three tools and you're going to be 110% more productive. And I always give this example when somebody asks me, well, how are you actually using it? So imagine it's 10 minutes before you're scheduled to talk to a networking group about what you do. You've never met any people in this room. You are getting to talk for 8 to 10 minutes about what you do about a topic. You already have the topic planned, and you get a message from the host that says, will you be sharing a PowerPoint? All of our speakers share slides. Oh, crap. Oh, no. I have
Been
nothing.
there, done that. Yes.
I never use slides. Very, very rarely do I use slides. So I took my talk outline that I've done 10 times before, took that same outline, dropped it into an AI tool called Gamma, and in 4 minutes, I had a beautiful presentation. And the only editing I did was put my picture on the front cover. All the other pictures, all the other graphs, everything created for me based on my outline in 4 minutes. And I get to the talk and with confidence share my screen. I do my talk while sharing those slides. I publish it and make it visible with a URL, and I give it to everyone in the room to access. The last page of the slide is my contact info, my LinkedIn, my email, and my phone number to WhatsApp me a message if you're interested in working together. Wow.
I love that.
Wow. And, years ago, I would have shown up without anything. So it kind of empowers you to show up more powerfully in a quicker amount of time. And I love things like that.
So when you talk about, I think a lot of people are listening to it and go, okay, so you are using AI and, you're doing things faster. I
Mhm.
would contend that what you described there as an example would not be possible if you didn't have the skill and experience. So if we
Mhm.
were to grab Joe Smith off the street and go, okay, Joe, you need to present to this, and you're talking on this topic, and Joe wasn't an expert in that topic. Joe couldn't use ChatGPT or
No,
Gamma or any other AI tool to do that
no.
effectively, because what you're describing to me is AI as a tool that's amplifying your skill and experience.
Mm,
You're shrinking that 4-hour process of creating a presentation, which is arduous and terrible in my mind. I hate them. You're
mhm.
shrinking that into 10 minutes because you understand the topic, because you understand what's going on, and you can actually give the right information to the tool.
Right.
And it's almost like having, in my mind, a super admin on your team that
Mhm,
understands how to do virtually everything. And
mhm.
what you really need to do is you need to give that admin the relevant information that it needs so that it can respond effectively, because it can understand virtually any topic if you can give it the right direction. Would you
Yeah.
agree with that analysis that I'm
Oh,
making or no?
100%. I feel like I have a rock star assistant who understands what I want, what I need, and how to do it. And I will say, and this goes with any software technology or any business task you need to do in your small business, you need to understand the task. You need to understand what you want as an outcome. And you also need to understand the tool. So I think it all starts with awareness for most people. Most people think AI is ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, and that's about the extent of it. And there's so many other tools that, when they're layered on top of each other, can take your knowledge, amplify it. And what you showed me in your topical authority challenge, which I think is by far the best thing you've ever done, it was
Thank you.
absolutely life changing as far as how I produced. I had gotten away from producing blog posts because they weren't doing what I wanted it to do for my business. And doing it in this way, it's amplified Suzanne. And I've only done, total transparency, 4 blog posts the way I learned to do it.
Hmm.
4 have brought over 600 people to my website and booked 4 appointments, quality appointments, because I was more the authority in those posts. And 2 clients have come from that. And
From just
why?
4 blog posts. Wow.
Yeah, just 4. And why haven't I done more? You're thinking.
No, I'm not. I'm,
Because
I'm just thinking you took action and you did something.
yeah,
As you know, as a coach, that's probably, and I mean, a total segue for a moment. That's probably one of the most frustrating parts of being a coach, is that you can lead that horse to water. You can go, here are the 5 steps you need to take to achieve the success you just
mhm,
told me you want. And
yeah,
then you watch as that horse stands there and looks at you and you go, well, I don't want that water. And you're like, but you said you were thirsty. You
yes,
said you wanted to do this. This is fine water and it will achieve the objective of quenching your thirst. And the horse looks at you and goes, yeah, but that's not what I want to do.
right,
So the fact that you took action there is the part that I'm like, yes, this is amazing, because
yeah.
so few people actually take action.
Well, that's key. And I think I wasn't prepared for the amount of interest that those blog posts were going to generate.
Uh-huh.
They were incredible engagement, not only on Facebook, but on LinkedIn. They went out as emails to my list. I had a 60% open rate on every single one of them, which is amazing, because the taglines and the hooks and the email subject lines were interesting to my ideal client. I do a really bad job with that. So AI has helped me speak to my ideal client in a more interesting and bolder way. And I was not prepared for the amount of people coming this way from it. That's why I only do one a week. Because, gosh, if I do more than that, I better have something to offer all of those people. So I'm putting those ducks in a row, and being ready for that is very important too.
Oh, absolutely. And again, kudos for just taking that action
Thank
and
you.
proceeding with it, because that's what. And again, I'm sure you've run into that when you're coaching
Mhm.
clients as
Oh, yeah.
well. It's. I just last night I was talking with one of my coaching clients, and they're like, "But this is what I want," and I'm like, "But we've been over this. Here's the next step." Well, but I don't want to do that, and I'm like, "That's the next step to get where
Yeah.
you want to go."
Yeah.
It's like I'm in Alabama at the moment, and we're speaking in Arkansas in a couple months. And if I want to go from Alabama to Arkansas, I've either got to go a really long way around, or I'm going to go through Mississippi to get there. Just the
Mhm.
way it works. And if I go, but I don't want to go through Mississippi. Okay, well, I could drive a long way around and go north. But if I go, but I don't want to do that, then that means I need to somehow get into the Gulf of Mexico and go
Yeah.
around into Louisiana or Texas. But I don't want to do that, then there isn't really any way I'm going to get where I need to go. And I sense
Mhm.
that so many people, and I know I'm taking a huge pivot here, but so many people hear things like that and they look at AI and they go, "Yeah, I just don't want to do that." And then they
Yeah.
complain but it doesn't do anything for me. And
Mhm.
so I don't think they're leveraging that as we go through. Again, total segue, my ADD
I,
getting in
I
the way.
I see it all the time, and I would just encourage imperfect action. I mean, I think I encourage imperfect action every day. One of my clients messaged me this morning and said they were going to take something of yours. What did I recommend them taking topical authority or something else of yours? And I said, you need to take both. They're both wonderful. Um, it doesn't matter what order you take them in, as long as you're still taking action on all of your outreach, all of your emails, all of your ideal client identification that we talked about. So don't neglect the daily, you know, I call it the tailored 20, but don't neglect that interaction on a daily basis with those people that can refer business to you or that you want to work with. You
Absolutely.
can't put that lead gen aside until you can afford to have somebody do it for you. And she was like, "Oh, I do put that aside a lot to learn something new." No, it has to go together. And this is why so many entrepreneurs are so inconsistent with their income, because the things that get them clients, they stop doing once they get clients, and you can't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it reminds me of my early days in sales. I know I was a much younger man, and I remember a mentor of mine said, if you're not careful, your sales career will turn into a series
Mhm.
of waves. And I'm like, "What do you
Yeah.
mean a series of waves? I don't understand." And at the time, I was selling IT services, and the general sales cycle was about 90 days. And he goes, "What you do today isn't actually going to create your paycheck next week. It's creating your paycheck for about 90 days out." And he goes, "What's going to happen?" And this happens to everybody when they get started in business and sales, is
Mhm.
they work really hard for that first 90 days. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm busy." And
Mhm.
then they stop doing the things that
Yeah.
led them to be busy. And then what happens is they finish up working, and all of a sudden that wave crashes. And now you're back to square one again. And you're like, "I don't have any clients. I don't have anybody to work with," because you spent the last 30 days doing nothing as far as business generation. And
Right.
because it's like a farmer planting, if I don't plant seeds in the spring, I can't harvest in the fall. If you stop planting those seeds at any point in time, when it comes time to harvest, there will be nothing there to harvest. And it's been, at least for me, that's been one of the hardest things in my entire career to get consistent with, is to know that no
Same.
matter what happens, every day, or in my case, every week, I need to reach out to X number of people to
Mhm.
ask them if they want to do business with me, because it's so important. And there's so
Now,
many areas I could go with this conversation. Go ahead.
well, I heard somebody say, if you want, and since I'm a coach, this really resonated with me, that if I want $1 million a year coaching practice, that's the top 4% of coaches have a business over $100,000 a year, which is shocking. Just
You mean
that.
a million a year, right? 7 figures?
No, 100.
Oh,
Only the
just over
top.
100.
Yes. Yes. So 96% of coaches make under $100,000 a year. That might have changed a little bit,
But
this
still, the vast
resource.
majority.
The
Yeah,
vast majority. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, let's add some zeros to that. I want $1 million a year coaching practice. I need to ask for $3 to $4 million worth of business. Am I doing
absolutely.
that? And the answer was no. No. So it really shifted something inside of me. I have a great close rate. I have a great, you know, rapport with people. Once they know me and they like me and they trust me, they usually sign up to work with me, whether it's 3 months or 3 years. I don't care. It's all the same seeds that are getting
Sure.
planted. But in my mind, I was nowhere near close to offering coaching or my programs or my membership to the amount of people required. And that was my own like insecurities or just thinking, oh no, that person wouldn't want what I have. So you don't offer. And I encourage all of my clients now to set a number goal. How much do you want your business a year to generate? And if it's $1 million, awesome. You need to be offering out proposals, like actual proposals, $3 to $4 million worth of
Yeah.
business.
Yep. Absolutely. A great advice. I love where you're headed with the whole. That's one of the reasons I love collaborating with you. Is I love where your mind goes and how you walk through all of that. To that business owner that's like, okay, it's 2025, it's January, I need to
Mhm.
do this year.
Yeah.
How do you recommend that they take first steps? What are the first steps they should be doing? Um, and does AI fit into that? And the reason I want to ask it that way is I
Yeah.
think too many people come and see AI as this magic wand that's going to solve all my problems when all I really believe it is, and I love AI, as you know, but all I really believe it is an amplification tool.
Mhm.
And so I don't think if we plan to leverage AI to fix our business, it's going to work. We need to do the things you're talking about and say, okay, my goal is 3 to 4x for my
Mhm.
proposals. Now, how can AI help me do that? How
Right.
can AI get me in front of people? What do you recommend to that business that says, all right, this is my year. I'm going to
Mhm.
do this. I'm going to stop learning and start doing, and maybe not stop learning, but I'm going to start doing. What are the areas they should be looking at in your mind, AI or not, for their next steps that they should do in order to make 2025 that year that they become part of that 4%?
Well, number one is absolute clarity on your ideal client and ideal referral partner. And they're probably two different people. Then tighten up your offers. One of the coaches I just started working with had 14 different offers, all different prices, all different options. Very, very confusing. Plus, he
Yeah, if
was
you confuse, you
also,
lose.
oh, yeah, he was also selling sponsorship to his podcast. And I was like, all this goes away. You sell one thing and you sell coaching. You get people where they want to go, and we will niche down the person. So, absolute clarity on that and simple, simple, simple if you want to increase your income.
Mm-hmm.
Those complicated sales funnels are wonderful. I love them. I love to geek out on customer journeys. But the simplest pathway, if you're not making the money that you want, is to talk to more people who need what you have. And if you don't know who that is, use AI to do that research. Find out who the biggest people are in your niche that solve the problem you solve. For me, that looked like three coaches who are at the top echelons of income influence like Tony Robbins, Mike Koenig's, like some really cool, like life business coaches who are incorporating AI into what they do. And when I look at them online, what are they talking about? What are they selling? How much are they charging? And knowing where I fit in that ecosystem, really, really important. Like, am I more expensive than Tony Robbins? No. Am I less expensive? Yes. How do my offers compare to his? Very similar if you work with, excuse me, a Tony Robbins business coach. Very similar. What's the difference between me and that offer of Tony Robbins? You get me. You get to talk to me, and the solution's custom, not generic. So leaning into what makes you unique. And then you can figure out what AI tools are going to help you get there faster. If you need short form video, there's a great tool for that as long as you're not obsessed with perfection. Don't be obsessed with perfection. Get more eyes on your name, and AI can help you do that. And the human brain, and I always share this stat, the human brain can remember 100 people, basically. So I can remember 100 different people. Oh, yeah, that's Judy. Oh, yeah, that's Mary, and know what they do and who they serve. Awesome. Well, I need more than 100 people in my tribe buying my things. So, how do I have thousands of people have me be one of their 100? That's your
I
mission.
love that.
That's your
Oh, that's so
mission.
good.
Yeah, isn't
That
it?
is so good.
I love it. Totally geeked out on that.
I'm like, I see an entire series of Facebook posts about this. This is in my head, my head spinning. I love it. I love
Okay.
it. All right. So as we bring the plane in for a landing here, I guess, let me ask you this, and we're going to have to do a follow-up, Suzanne. You and I could talk for hours on this, and I absolutely adore what we're going over. But to that business owner that says, I'm not ready yet. I need one more thing. I need one more course. I need one more moment. Talk to me about your perspective on action today is better than perfect action tomorrow, or even fair, mediocre action today is better than better action tomorrow. What are your thoughts on that as a way to run a
Yeah.
business?
Well, I think the mindset of what you're talking about is really knowing that there is somebody that you're good enough to help other people. And the other people that you need to help are, they could be 5 minutes behind you, they could be 5 years behind you. And just making an effort to reach out to those people and have conversations. And there's many times I connect with somebody who is, in my perception, bigger than me, more advanced than me, farther along than me. But I have very specific knowledge on something that they go, Suzanne, I need that. Oh, you did? I'd be happy to help you with that. So I think that all comes from that inner confidence of my own intellectual property and not worrying that the person I'm connecting to has been a coach longer than me or they have a better certification than me. And that's all standing in your own unique genius, which is a little bit of a mindset hack. AI can't help you with your mindset, but yet it can. Yet it can, because you created a custom GPT that was for imposter syndrome. And
Yeah.
even the results, I don't have imposter syndrome at all anymore, but I got some great information back from that. So it can even help you with that as well.
Amazing, amazing stuff. Well, Suzanne, I want to thank you for taking the time today. Next time I need to spend less time talking before I press record, because again, I
Okay.
think we could have taken the entire hour doing that. But this is just, I love the way your brain works. I love the direction you're giving. And I just want to challenge, if you're listening to this podcast or watching this on video, and again, it's early in 2025, take steps today to make things happen, not tomorrow. Don't Suzanne and I both sell coaching. We both sell courses. We both have lots of things that can help you. But don't don't use those as an excuse to not take action, because it's taking action that will make all the difference for you.
Yeah.
There's always time to take courses, and I love Suzanne's courses, and I recommend all of them that I've taken. They're amazing. But if we don't take action, nothing happens. So really, if you take nothing else, folks, take action today. Ask yourself, no matter what time it is you're listening to this or watching this, what can you do before you go to sleep tonight and your head hits that pillow? What can you do to take action to move your business forward? Because I bet there's something, even if you're laying in bed listening to this podcast going, it's going to bore me to death and put me to sleep. Put it down and do something first. So,
Love it.
Suzanne, again, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute blessing having you on here. I cannot wait for the next time we chat. Thank you. I can't, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything.
Appreciate it.
All right. And if you've joined us on the podcast, I want to thank you as well. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We love your feedback. We'd love it if you'd subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like this. And if you've got other people that you know, amazing people like Suzanne, that you'd like to have and hear what their thoughts are, make sure you recommend them so we can reach out. With that, everyone, make it an amazing day. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.